So you need to have something looking up at layer 7. Um, the, I encourage you, I don't know where I found this, I'm not sure if I can encourage you to use it, but in a roundabout way I kind of do encourage you to use it wherever you have a need for communicating the traditional OSI model and how network security and perimeter defenses affect web application security or layer 7 security. Absolutely the best web app firewall use cases I found. I have to give credit to Ivan, the mod security author. He's kind of a legend, living legend. So Ivan, if you're out there, thank you. But these are basically use cases that you can have for web firewall. The web intrusion detection and prevention. Just the detection piece is huge, because you'll find that everyone says they know what's going on at layer 7, but they really don't know because no one's actually looked at it. It flies right through your perimeter defenses. It flies right through your network firewall. And no one's taken the time to look at actually how the users are using the site or what the layer 7 traffic looks like. So a continuous security assessment, because the web app firewall is on 24/7. Virtual or just-in-time patching. This is something which can't be overlooked, because if you find the vulnerabilities through the assessment process, you need to block them as soon as you can. And this buys you time from actually patching the code later, but in theory, it blocks the exposure to the internet. And you'll find some really clever guys saying, well, I can get around the web app firewall blocking, blah, blah, blah. But those are a handful of guys. So if you can block 98 or 99% of the attackers out there, then it's going to make you sleep much better at night, I assure you. HTTP traffic logging and monitoring, network building block, and then web app hardening. So I wouldn't encourage you to use the web app firewall to actually harden your app. You want to harden your app at the code layer, but it actually does, in a roundabout way, actually harden the app. It just buys you time from fixing things at the code level. Okay, so deploy a WAF. You cannot protect what you cannot see. This is huge. How can you protect web application traffic if you're not looking at it? You don't even know what it is. How can you protect it if you haven't taken the time to figure out what the traffic is? So I can't emphasize enough that it's almost impossible to protect what you cannot see. I got this from another colleague. What you'll see is the bouncer. He's at the front of the web security door. Knock, knock, knock. It's a hacker. I'm on to you now. You can't get in. And then he turns around, and there he is already behind him, because he just didn't see it. He wasn't looking. He was just invisible to him. And I submit that most of traditional perimeter defenses are invisible to web application security threats and risks. This is awesome. XKCD, if you go to his site, he's got awesome comics. I give him credit for this one. So, hi, it's your son in school. We're having some trouble. Oh dear, did you break something? Well, in a way. Did you really name your son Robert Drop Table Students? Oh yeah, it's little Bobby Tables, we call him. Well, they just lost all of their this year's data, so that's awesome. That's a little engineering humor. You will need greater visibility into application layer traffic. This is usually the piece that the traditional operations security folks do not understand. You will hear from traditional operations security guys that like I said, we have an IDS, we have an IPS, we have all this stuff. We're blocking everything already. Why do we need what you have? And you have to explain to them. The roadmap will actually help you. If you can get buy-in for the roadmap, take your own roadmap. Take this one and use it to make your own roadmap. Someone once told me that it wasn't a roadmap in the sense it didn't have Gantt charts, it didn't have timelines. Well, that's fine. So it doesn't have that, but I'm basically offering a task-specific roadmap. So take this and do whatever you need just to communicate to your senior management that these are the steps we're going to have to. If we're serious about web application security, if we're a web app security, if we're a web app company, we have to be focused more on this, then use this to kind of convey that message. The WAF should monitor and detect application anomalies and compromise attempts. I actually included, I'll talk about this a bit in the web app incident response plan, but in my WAF bake-off, or in the WAF bake-offs I've been, the most recent one, I made sure that the bake-off included as a decision criteria whether the WAF would give me enough visibility into the traffic to be able to flesh out what a web application specific incident was. If it doesn't tell you, if it doesn't give you that forensic ability, then I submit that maybe it's not the correct tool for you. So make sure that the tool offers you the visibility so you can actually build an incident response plan on web app security. As the WAF market matures, if you've been around security for a long time, you kind of saw this already in the layer 4 market. You saw that firewalls came out, and then you had IDSs coming out, and then you had the border routers, and so then all of a sudden they start talking to each other. If the IDS finds something, he sends an alert immediately over to the border router or whatever. So what you found in the layer 4 market, in the typical perimeter defenses, you found that as that market matured, all the devices started talking to each other. I submit that we're going to see that as well in the layer 7 market. We're starting to already see it. White Hat talks to F5, and Perva has an API out. So everyone, over time, what you'll find that these tools will talk to each other in a sense that if the assessment tool finds a problem, then it'll communicate immediately to the perimeter, and maybe you'll block 0 days or O days or whatever you want to call them more quickly. So make sure that when you look at your vendor solution, that you're aware of how the vendor climate may mature, and make sure that that's consistent with what your architecture has. The tricky part here is that you may need the operations security guys to deploy the WAF because they're going to be dropping it into your data centers, and you may be the guy that's making them look bad, so they may not actually want you to succeed. So you just need to be aware of that. The threat classification framework. This is actually pretty huge as well too, because you're going to be asked, someone's going to say, we found this particular problem. Is this serious or not? And so what you'll have to do is you'll have to kind of thought through how you're going to be gauging or doing some kind of triage, or how you're actually going to be scoring them. 5 minutes left? Oh, shit. I knew I had a lot of stuff. I mentioned I like the WASC scheme, but Owasp also has some other stuff as well too. Web App Incident Response Plan. This is huge. If you're not looking at web application security in a way that's going to actually offer you visibility into what an incident is, you need to kind of be rethinking how you're looking at web application security. This is something you may have to think about this for a while, but everyone has an incident response plan. You just go, you download it, and you have a little checkbox. It meets all your compliance concerns. No one really has fire drills. No one has anything. I'm saying that you need to actually give this a lot of thought. You need to figure out what in your web application could qualify as a web application incident, and then you figure out, have a predetermined type of response to that incident. This will save you from being blindsided along the way, and it'll also build confidence in your organization and in your management as you're overseeing the web application security effort. Webapir.com is another community site which I kind of started. It redirects to another Google site. So right now, if you're interested in doing this, send an email to Joe at Webapir, but that could very well be your name at Webapir. I don't really care. If you want to be involved in this, you could be Bob at Webapir. I'll give you an email address if you actually want to be involved with getting more visibility in Webapir.com, because I think it's going to be something which is huge in the future. Okay, finally we got to the internal pieces. So you can basically input anything here that's appropriate to your environment. Again, I can't impress upon you enough that don't let these internal projects distract you from building the foundation. If you don't build the foundation, you're not going to be successful.